Yeah, 18 of course.
Oh yeah, 18. But I wanna.
SB19 just walked through the doors of one of the most storied buildings in music history, and for Atin everywhere, that sentence alone is proof of how far this journey has come. Welcome back to Stage Wire. Tonight we're unpacking SB19's appearance at the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles. What actually happened behind those doors, and why this one evening might end up being one of the most important stops on their entire international run. Let's start with what this event actually was, because there's more nuance here than a typical concert stop. On July 28th in Los Angeles, July 29th back home in the Philippines, SB19 stepped into the Grammy Museum for a special edition of Global Spin Live, a live event series run in partnership with Grammy Studios. This isn't just any museum tour. Global Spin is the Recording Academy's own platform for spotlighting international artists, and getting invited into its live series is its own kind of recognition, separate from touring, separate from streaming numbers, separate from awards shows. The format for the night combined two things: an intimate, moderated conversation about SB19's career, their creative process, and their upcoming music, followed by a live performance. The session was moderated by Emily May, and tickets for the event sold out. Because of the museum setting, this wasn't a stadium-sized crowd. Professional cameras and video equipment weren't even allowed inside, but what the room lacked in size, it made up for in significance. Every person in that room, from longtime fans to industry guests, was there because SB19 had earned a seat at one of music's most respected institutions. So why SB19 and why now? The Grammy Museum didn't pick this group at random. In its own announcement, the museum described SB19 as one of the most influential acts in Southeast Asian music and credited them as pioneers of modern P-pop. Since debuting in 2018, the five members Pablo, Josh, Stel, Ken, and Justin have built a catalog that's crossed 1 billion career streams worldwide, powered by a global fanbase known as Atin. That fanbase name matters, and getting it right matters too, because Atin isn't just a label. It's the community that's driven SB19's numbers on Billboard, on streaming platforms, and now into rooms like this one. And the receipts back up the hype. SB19 made history as the first Southeast Asian and Filipino act ever nominated for a US Billboard Music Award, earning a nod for Top Social Artist back in 2021. They were also the first Filipino act to chart on Billboard's Social 50 and Next Big Sound rankings. More recently, their 2026 album, Wakas at Simula, kept that momentum alive, with lead single Visa debuting at number 6 on Billboard's World Digital Song Sales chart. This is a group that keeps stacking firsts, one after another, and the Grammy Museum was simply the newest entry on that list. There's another layer to this that makes the moment even more meaningful. SB19 became only the second P-pop act ever featured on Global Spin Live. The first was Binny, who sat down with the series back in April after their own historic run at Coachella. Same moderator, same stage, same institution, two Filipino acts, months apart, both being recognized on a platform usually reserved for globally established names. For anyone tracking the rise of P-pop as a genre, that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern, and it's one the industry is starting to notice. During the conversation portion of the night, SB19 spoke about where they are in their career right now, their approach to writing and producing their own music, and what's coming next. The group has leaned heavily into creative ownership over the years, shaping their sound and stage direction rather than simply performing material handed to them, and that authenticity has become one of the things critics and fans alike point to when explaining why SB19 stands apart from other acts in the region. That's the kind of detail that doesn't always make headlines, but it's exactly what earns an invitation to a place like the Grammy Museum in the first place. Then came the performance. Even inside a room built for intimacy rather than spectacle, SB19 brought the same discipline and precision that's defined their live shows for years: tight vocals, sharp coordination, and a stage presence that doesn't rely on scale to land. For a museum audience that included longtime Atin alongside industry professionals seeing the group for the first time, It was a compact but complete demonstration of exactly why SB19 has reached this level. It's worth stepping back for a second to appreciate how unusual this kind of access actually is. The Grammy Museum doesn't build its Global Spin live calendar around ticket sales or chart positions alone. Past guests on the series have included major names like Taemin, Boy Next Door, Treasure, Baby Monster, and Jeff Satter, artists with massive existing infrastructure behind them in some of the biggest music markets in Asia. For a group from the Philippines to be placed on that same calendar is a statement in itself. It's the kind of validation that doesn't come from a viral moment. It comes from an institution deciding a group's body of work is worth studying, not just streaming. Online, the reaction was immediate. Clips and photos from the evening spread quickly across social media, with fans celebrating the milestone as another sign that Filipino artists are being taken seriously on platforms that historically had little room for them. Comment sections filled up with Atin comparing this to earlier career milestones, tracing the group's path from local competition shows to a stage most artists never get close to, and framing the appearance as validation that years of pushing for wider recognition had finally paid off. It's also worth remembering that this appearance didn't happen in isolation. Just 2 days later, on July 30th, SB19 made history again by becoming the first homegrown Filipino act ever booked to perform at Lollapalooza in Chicago, one of the most influential festivals in the world. The Grammy Museum stop was essentially the opening chapter of a milestone week, not a standalone moment. And the momentum doesn't stop there. Earlier this year, SB19 signed with United Talent Agency for global representation, a move clearly aimed at building exactly this kind of international pipeline. Before flying out to the US, they headlined the Upcoming Generations concert back home. Looking ahead, August brings a Thanksgiving fan meet across the United States and Japan, along with a performance at the Osaka leg of Summer Sonic. Every one of these stops adds another data point to the same story. A Filipino group methodically expanding its footprint, market by market, milestone by milestone. What makes all of this land so strongly with fans isn't just the scale of the achievements, it's what they represent. For years, P-pop was treated as a niche corner of the music world, something international audiences might stumble onto but rarely sought out. SB19's Grammy Museum appearance, sitting right alongside their Lollapalooza debut and their steady chart history, tells a different story now. It says Filipino artists can walk into rooms that used to feel completely out of reach, and hold their own once they're inside. So here's where that leaves things. SB19's evening at the Grammy Museum wasn't the loudest event of their year, and it probably won't be the one that trends the hardest. But institutionally, it might be one of the most meaningful, because recognition from a place like the Grammy Museum isn't bought with virality. It's earned through years of consistency, and SB19 has been putting in that work since 2018. If this week is any indication, a sold-out museum session followed by a festival first at Lollapalooza, the group's international chapter is only getting started. What did you think was the biggest takeaway from SB19's Grammy Museum moment? The conversation, the performance, or the timing right before Lollapalooza? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more coverage like this as SB19's international run continues, make sure you like this video, subscribe to StageWire, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update.